level of competition that this Georgia offensive line has. Every time we look at the depth chart, it looks like it's high school All-American 2 or 3 deep.
Right. I guess the first thing I would start off with is the amazing job that we have as far as recruiters here, organization, getting people like myself and all of my teammates, like you said, usually always All-Americans or top-tier players regardless. And the other thing is the type of players that we want to have here is the type that work hard no matter whether you're not necessarily in the rotation right now, you're a freshman coming in with the same mindset to get better every day and just going back to our core principles, just trying to stay consistent with that and work as hard as we can to get each other better, thus making the games much easier and us able to reach our true potential.
Michael, what was last season like for you getting to be more regularly out there, being part of that rotation, and just getting to play the role you did over the course of the season?
Obviously, it was a blessing. Was just previously mentioned, all the hard work that we all put in, just accepting my role and knowing that if my number was called up, just gonna have to go out there and perform, and that can go for any one of us in the offensive line room because of the work that we put in throughout the week.
Micah, Kirby talked about you a little bit ago about kind of how guys know when you pull around or when you move up to the second level to block that you're kind of getting there with bad intentions. Give me your thoughts on the whole idea that of being a tone setter or an intimidator out there on the field, and how you feel about that role for yourself.
It's one of my favorite things. I like running into people, running over people. I'd say, it's just a mentality. Their mouthpiece better be in because mine's in it. I'm coming for you. That's about it.
Yeah, Mike, I'm curious at what point in your football career you noticed that when you hit people, they move a little bit differently. And at what point when you got here at Georgia did you realize that ability was kind of transferring over from high school to college?
I guess I noticed the ability had to be sometime in high school when I started playing offensive line because middle school I was D-line, so sometime in high school. And I guess it would have to be a practice either my sophomore year or early junior year whenever I did one of the pool plays. Realized, hey, I got it still, so that would be it.
Yeah, what's your relationship like with Dylan Fairchild? You guys come in the same class together. You guys are competing at left guard together. Can obviously be a little bit of competition there, but I get the sense that you guys both have a real admiration for each other as well.
Yeah, it's actually funny. Dylan, he went to West Forsyth, so I played him 2 times back in high school. So me and Dylan go way back before we even knew we were going to end up being teammates. So like you were saying, obviously we just want to get each other better, pushing each other all the time, obviously. But at the end of the day, that's my brother. We've been through a lot together, all the practices, runs, stuff like that. So it's definitely something great, because whenever it's 2 solid players like me and Dylan just getting each other better, just at the end of the day, it's making our team better, and that's the goal.
What can you tell us about Earnest Greene, and what is it like playing beside him?
It's awesome. Ernest Greene, don't tell him I told you guys this, but he has some of the best feet I've ever seen in a tackle. I know I mess with him a lot, but it's awesome, especially seeing him grow up because I was here before him, just seeing him develop from how he was when he first came in and now. Still, even though he plays, still, it's still night and day now. Just seeing how much he's developing, I really, really appreciate him. All that he does for me, and just working with him is amazing.
Yeah, I know you got an opportunity at the very end of the Florida State game to get in at left tackle. How often have you gotten a chance to work at left tackle here at the University of Georgia? And, how is that experience like, obviously not getting to pull as much and do what you love of just running people over?
Right. Well, in high school coming into Georgia, I came in here as a tackle. So obviously my first year I was getting reps at tackle. But really playing tackle for me, it just shows my versatility, I would say. Being able to play inside or outside. In practice, I pretty much play everything except center when I have to. Just willing to work. And as far as pulling, I like pulling more, but I'll do whatever the team needs.
Micah, you played at Camden County, correct?
Yes.
You played for Coach Herron, legendary high school coach, and
Right.
he just retired. Just what was it like playing with him, and what lessons did you learn and you take here?
The first thing I would start off with is Warren Erickson. He's a GA here now. He was an offensive lineman. Coach Spire coached him before he came to Camden. So just the Bob Spire connection is crazy. It's real. Somehow he knows everybody. And just him being able to coach me in my time in Camden was honestly pivotal in how I got here, if I'm being honest. Just him believing in me, throwing me out there as a freshman, allowing me to, learn the hard way. Everything wasn't always pretty, but, eventually it turned me into a solid football player, and I really appreciate him. And I was just honored and blessed to be able to have him as a head coach.
Yeah, Micah, we talked with Demarius Mims a few times. Obviously, he was a guy that was a developmental player that now looks like a first-round pick. I guess I would ask you from your perspective, we're in this era of fast money and NIL transfers versus guys like Mims or I guess yourself that stay in a program. At what point do you process the value of building an NFL resume versus maybe the quick deal somewhere else?
As far as me and my mindset towards that stuff, I would say it starts whenever you commit to a school. Commitment is for better or for worse. Things might always not work out how you want it to, but you keep pushing. You'll feel better for staying and knowing that you gave it all you had than leaving and choose another route. But that's just my mindset. And some people feel like that they have a better opportunity somewhere else, and you can't knock them for that either.
Michael, when we've talked to other players like Tate, he's talked about the connection in the offensive line room and just how close you guys are. How does that show up in the competition? The way you guys go against each other day after day.
Talking about like offensive line or us against the D line?
The offensive line.
I guess it starts with Indy with Coach Searels. Just putting each other knowing the standard from whether it's T-board drills, punch and reach, touch punch, just making sure that we know each other's best and we know what it looks like. So just trying to make sure that we get that out of each other every rep.
Yeah, I asked Ernest a little bit about this, but facing guys like Warren Brinson and Nazir, you've been facing them for 3 years now. Now you get to do it again. First of all, just how have those two kind of made you better and made you a better player over time? But how has it been now getting to face them again? And since you know each other's tendencies, now having to mix it up a little bit?
Well, just like the cliche is, iron sharpens iron. Those guys are vets here. They know the defense. They know our offense when we practice against them. Just having such stout guys and powerful defensive linemen like Warren Brinson and Nas, it gets us better still at the end of the day because we go against them every day, Monday through Thursday. And then it makes Saturdays when we go against another great opponent, we've been practicing for, we've been prepared for it, so it gives us our best shot.
Yeah, Mike, obviously during practice, you mentioned playing tackle, and you're obviously getting a ton of reps. But during a game, you guys are still playing a three-man rotation at guard, or will be, or were last year.
Right.
How do you keep yourself hot on the sideline when you know you're going to eventually go back in, but you're not in now?
That's a good question. I get a little loose with field goal after we score. I go in for a little bit, but I guess just not sitting too long. Bodyweight squats, or sometimes I have one of my teammates practice bull rushing me just so I can make sure my pad level is ready for when I do get in the game. And then as far as mentally, just knowing what has to be done. Mission team me. That's our mindset. Just remembering the mission, and I will do it for the team, and then I'll be ready.
Micah, Coach Searels has been doing this for a long time, and wanted to know if you could kind of describe him as a coach, and obviously being around it a long time, he's probably got some one-liners, and you've probably been on the side of one of those. What are his go-tos?
No comment.
Well, what's he like as a coach?
Oh, sorry. As a coach, he's awesome. He's gonna get the best out of us. I love him. I think he's hilarious. He knows how to get the best out of us. Since the first day he came here, the approach was definitely to be aggressive, and I feel like that's what we've been over the past few years, especially since I've been here as offensive line, just aggressive, and that comes with hard work, and it starts from the moment Indy starts. We have a very intense Indy, I would say, and just the work and preparation that we do as an offensive line unit, it all starts with him and his mindset and his goals.
Michael, when you look to this spring, what are the areas you want to improve that you want to look at by the time G-Day is in the books and say, hey, I got better in this way?
For me, I would say the main thing overall is just being more consistent with everything. But once again, just me always trying to get better. I would say there's a lot of things I get better on, whether it's flipper, pad level. Just trying to become a more dominant offensive line in general. And that means me becoming more of a dominant offensive lineman myself, whatever it takes to help the team, really.
Have time for one more question.
Yeah, Micah, you touched a little bit earlier on how you stay warm during the course of games. The Alabama game, Marius goes down, you get sent in there. What was that process like? And then that game obviously doesn't turn out the way that you wanted to. How has that result sort of been motivating, if it has been, factor for this team this offseason?
I say it was a huge factor. Like you said, whenever Mims went down, throughout the week and obviously before that, I had been rotating in, so it was obviously more of a next man up situation. But I would just say understanding the assignment and knowing that the job still had to be done, no matter who was in, the preparation that we did throughout the week and really the whole season building up to that point was going to have to show. Obviously, it didn't end how we wanted to, the result how we wanted to, but we definitely use that for fuel now, just knowing that if we want to cross that barrier, it's going to take more. So just working harder with the mindset, knowing what we want to get done at the end.
Michael, one more question. I hope I don't embarrass you by asking this, but I know you, when it comes to NIL, you use that money a lot for kids at Boys Club around Athens. I know you've given some to your dad, I believe, if I'm not mistaken on that. Why is that important for you to do and use your money in that way?
My granddad and my grandmother ended up passing this past year now. But as far as giving back to the youth, because I'm from Camden County, Southeast Georgia. There wasn't really a lot of stuff like that whenever I was around in my county for me, and just knowing that it's the youth that's going to end up shaping the future, and just trying to help them and give them the best chance that they have, even if they didn't start off with the bare minimum, trying to at least give them that or have them have a good holiday. If I'm able to do that, that's what I would like to do.
Thank you, Micah.
Thanks, Micah.